on this match. You know, I feel like the first two games were definitely, it was hard to tear yourself away from the Gariachkina Salimova match. There was objectively a bit more action going on there, and we did see already a decisive result that produced a World Cup win. Who is going to be joining Magnus Carlsen in the finals of the World Cup? I mean, is it going to be the young Praggnanandhaa, or is it going to be Carlsen's former World Championship challenger, Fabiano Caruana, who's currently rated world number 2?
Yes, exactly. And on the board we see another Italian game, which employed by Caruana on their first game in the rapid tie break, and now
we see Pragg doing it. Yeah, so Pragg hasn't relied on e4 all that much in the World Cup, but in a few games we have seen him do it, so not a complete shock either. And, you know, Fabiano obviously very experienced with both colors. So castles, and a4 on the board. They already put quite a few moves in. So the Italian with knight c3 rather than the pawn on c3. a4, bishop g4, h3, bishop h5. And, I mean, how exactly are we supposed to get out of this pin?
Yeah, he might be using the idea of maybe g4, you know, like this reverse idea where we normally see it on the black's perspective, but now, yeah, it's not completely unusual to play such a thing. Okay, knight d4 is on the board.
Oh, wow, interesting. Knight d4 on the board, and it's actually not the most popular move at all. There was one game where white was Gawain Jones last year against 2500. That went this way, but overall it's not super popular, and that game went with bishop takes d4, yeah, quite obvious. He takes d4 and knight d5, and I guess that's what we also have on the board, knight d5.
Yep, and bishop d5. I think in this position you can just play c6 and play king h8, preparing for f5.
Yeah, so what does white have here? Actually, I guess they have the better pawn structure and maybe a possible attack against this pawn.
C6. Bishop takes f3, yeah.
Bishop takes f3. We have bishops of opposite color now.
Yeah, bishop moves first to b3.
He moved to b3, and then Bobby just took this knight.
Otherwise, g4 is there.
Yeah. Otherwise, this is a problem, and he didn't even bother trying to go c5. Yeah. So he just took, and now we have bishops of opposite color, and he probably answered with something quite quickly. But we need a close-up view of the board.
So g6.
G6 on the board, yeah?
Yeah, so, well, it's a opposite colored bishop, but it is by no means that, you know, it's just drawn, because, again, opposite colored bishop is very dangerous. You just have to get your bishop more active than the other bishop.
And he moved his queen somewhere to open up the f-pawn, I think. So I see the queen, is it either, yeah, it's on g4. Okay. So, well, of course, white's plan is kind of obvious, f4, f5, and it feels, you know, more pleasant to play as white, would be my first impression, that this bishop is more active than the bishop on e7. Both players, of course, playing super fast. They're not using any time to get to this position. They have actually almost 11 minutes each.
Right, yeah.
So it's not something unfamiliar for them.
Yep. And, well, the moves themselves are actually quite simple. They just have to choose which approach that they want to go for. And then this is a very dynamic approach with opposite colored bishop, and king g7 is on the board. Do you think Fabiano might be preparing for f5 in this position?
You know, I was going to say that's sort of what it looks like. Another one is sometimes h5, but okay, like f4, would we really go with this move? Pawn takes and rook takes, and the benefit of that is that you could have d5 closing up the white bishop. Oh, but no, I don't think you can do it because bishop e6 happens too fast and then f5. So unfortunately, this would be nice if you could get this move in and block off the bishop.
Right.
But this move happens, and then f5 is pushed through anyway, and then white definitely has the initiative. So I don't think that he can play f5 as much as he would like. And do we have f4 on the board?
Not yet. So Praggnanandhaa is still thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he did it. So
He
f4 is on the board.
So now the big question is really for Fabi. Another interesting move could be something. Well, Queen c8 runs into f5, right? So like, there's no more queen trade probably because we just kind of keep going. I was thinking, if you go back, I was wondering if then I have that chance to go f5. But then you're gonna bring in your rook. You're not gonna like trade with me immediately, helping me to develop my queen. So, what else can Fabi do after f4?
Yeah, tough decision here. Try to prepare against f5.
Yeah, so this is definitely like, how poisonous is it? If you do it, I mean, what's the big deal? Can I go
bishop f6?
Maybe even bishop h4, queen g5, or bishop f6, bishop e5.
But yeah, I'd like to close this.
Like, let's say I go a5. Let's just check. Like some random move. I want to see, like, is this really a threat? Because we go here, and we go there, and I mean, the bishop's extremely powerful, right? So, another thing that we can even do sometimes, I mean, we can try h5 at some point, maybe even h5, h4.
Queen c7. So how does it prepare against f5?
It probably doesn't in a direct way. I mean, it sort of connects the rooks, protects that, and I think after f5, we're going bishop f6.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That would be my guess. Unless you can't really go there, right? I mean, these kinds of ideas are a little bit too wild.
You want to take in c5, or?
Yeah, I wanted to take and just maybe even take and just, I don't know, open up the queen or something. I mean, but there's just no reason for black, I think, to be going for moves like that, even though d5 kind of makes sense when you actually succeed in closing up this bishop. So, yeah, now Pragg has to figure out what to do. I mean, f5 is by far the most obvious move. But there could be ways you play this slower. It's just that I don't really think it's easy for white to slow play this. Like, I see the computer offering up some, like, queen retreats. I just don't really feel like that's what, like that's a very human way to do it. Yeah, so rook a1 makes sense. And
rook ae8?
Yeah, I don't know, like, how directly helpful this move is to anything. It just sort of is played, but I mean, when you play f5, does the rook really need to be here? It's not obvious, right? So rook a8 is would be quite a normal response by Fabiano. How about bishop f6 here? Is it just too early? And then, let's try it. It looks a little ugly, but just a little bit.
Can I actually sack a pawn there by playing e5, the e5 and f5?
Ah, you want to sack it like that.
And then build up.
Build up on the f file.
And now the bishop on b3 is just way stronger.
That's actually a really interesting idea. So you want to go here, and then do that typical pawn sack, yeah? Problem is, like, there's no direct threat, right? And it's not like you can put a knight on e4, So, I mean, there is compensation here, but it's not very clear, so probably not that. I was wondering if you could, like, step back and try to go g4, g5.
That's interesting, yeah.
Kind of. Yeah, I mean, like that. Next. Maybe there is a point to, like, not rushing with f5, so you keep more control over the dark squares.
Yeah. So Fabi mirror the move, so rook ae8 is on the board.
Yeah. Like that. I don't know exactly what we're threatening, but it feels vaguely threatening to advance the pawns like that. Alright, but bishop f6 was quite ugly, and rook ae8 is on the board just awaiting white's intentions. Like, is white pushing with f5 or not? Or are they going to try to slow play it, like retreating the queen somewhere? Pragg starting to spend some time.
Right, because well, this is the tough moment to choose which plan that you're gonna go for, which attack actually, because yeah, white is the only one who's attacking in this position.
Okay, so he did pull the queen back. He decides the patient approach. Very interesting.
And g4 is the follow-up move.
Well, I don't know. That's g4 is my
No, I like
suggestion.
that idea.
Oh, you think so? You
Yeah,
like
I think
it?
so.
Yeah. I mean, because there's other ways. You can actually also try to go for the dark square pawn strategy like that.
Actually, I like this g4 and then goes to g5. Just
Yeah.
stop it like that, and then you go for king g2, rook h1, and then push the h pawn. That would be a
G4,
very practical plan.
Yeah. All right. So basically, let's say Fabi just waits, right? Because Fabi's position is solid but passive, right? He doesn't really have much of a plan of his own, actually. If you go there, we don't mind that.
Yep.
So let's say we wait. Bishop d8 seems like a harmonious way to wait.
Play g4, let's say.
And g4, and then though, see, there's this bishop h4 move, and then we go f6. Then you're kind of blockaded on the dark squares. Not so easy to push through here. So you might have to be careful about that, because there is the idea of blockade in these bishops of opposite color positions is a big one. So yeah, I do kind of expect something like bishop d8 by Fabi, because his position is really more of like a sit and wait type of position. I mean, you can wait with a move like that. Doesn't seem that harmful either. But I don't really see a big need for pushing the pawn to a5.
Yeah, it feels like you have to do something on the king side. Yeah, so playing
h5 is kind of crazy because it allows g4. I feel like it's maybe playable, but who really allows that? I mean, are we gonna take maybe, like, look at this, take it, maybe g5? I mean, that would be fascinating. Can I actually play like this? Can I really try to get control of those dark squares from you? Because if you take, my bishop comes out and I have rook e5.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yes, well, with bishops of opposite color, it's like a real battle for the squares that your opponent's bishop can't cover.
Yeah, it will promise to be a very tricky position for both sides.
All right, so Fabi played the waiting move queen d7, and Pragg answered him with, I believe, maybe something like rook e2. Yeah, rook e2. So both sides kind of waiting. The rook steps out of the potential bishop h4 attacks, so I totally understand that. Maybe, at some point after like bishop d8, maybe we can finally play g4. Okay, I think he does play bishop d8. And then there is a move like d5, which is far from obvious. And based on the fact that, I guess we can...
You have to sec, yeah? Sec the pawn?
Yeah, we can take, and actually get the open e-file, right? And get compensation like that.
Yeah.
So there is that idea. So, g4 is quite risky for white, right? It's like, it seems to be the main idea, but it's also quite risky.
Yeah. Well, but white has many moves to choose from here. g4 is one of them. Also, the idea of f5, a direct attack, is also interesting. Or maybe some build-up first on the e or f file. So, yeah, Praggnanandhaa is thinking which one.
If you go f5, you want to drive the pawn in. That's why this move is always met with that. That way, when they take, you take with a pawn and you protect. And Pragg just made a move. It's interesting because we only see his back now. Oh, there we go.
King H1.
King H1. Yeah, so he's not willing to commit, yeah? Which I understand. I understand because every time I'm trying to do something, there seems to be some refutation. So does Caruana actually have this D5 idea now?
Yeah. Will he go for it, do you think? Because it's kind of quite committal. And he can actually make some other waiting moves,
He
not
can.
D5.
But D5 is interesting, yeah, because you're really trying to shut down the bishop or get some counterplay. I mean, the question is whether he even, sort of is considering it or not, because it's not like the most obvious thing, just giving away the pawn,
Right.
right? So if he considers it, perhaps he'll go for it. He doesn't have a whole lot of other active ideas. Can we try F5 at any point? Can we try this move?
Wow.
Maybe F5 is like where it's a good moment because now we have that under control. He's kind of moved the queen in and the bishop back to control E6. Maybe this is actually like a playable situation for him, which is a bit more natural. So I'm feeling like, yeah, I'm actually thinking that F5. Oh, but he goes for D5.
He went for D5.
Wow.
That's amazing. That's amazing. A very, very brave decision by Fabiano.
Yeah, well, basically, if the white pawn moves and this bishop is shut out of the game, that's the problem. So the only way to keep the bishop in the game is with that move, but then you're giving away the e-file.
So maybe white should throw in DC first here before moving the queen. Anytime, actually.
Ah, you mean like right here? Yeah, throw in pawn takes pawn, yeah?
Or queen C
then,
or BC.
The problem is
rook
getting in
E3,
the rook, yeah. It's a powerful idea by Fabi.
Yep. So I think white has to take it, otherwise the bishop will be locked up.
Well, maybe you shouldn't take it. Maybe you should just hold attention.
And doubling the rook, maybe, yeah?
Yeah.
Rook Fe1.
Yeah, maybe like this, but then there's bishop A5, which is kind of funny.
And look
then
at the
you just
queen.
have to move it away.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's very clever by Fabi. And now Pragg is down to less than 5 minutes.
So this position, it's still a 3-result game. So yeah, we still. I think a draw is of course the objective result, but you still never know how this game could turn up.
Yeah, definitely as they get into the blitz part and the position being so unbalanced, it's hard to know. And I think Pragg has to make some good decisions now. He basically can't really change the character of the position too much. I mean, okay, let's try F5. Can we try F5? Trying to go F6. You go bishop here. Maybe then I can take on D5. I mean, there's a lot of things for him to think about. So it's really not obvious what to go for.
Yeah.
I mean, should he go for E5 or is that just a bad situation? Because then his bishop is completely locked out and this pawn is getting undermined. Yeah, that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
No, D5 is a very good way to put your opponent under pressure, and now he's been thinking for more than 2 minutes.
Yeah, put pressure on the board, but also on the time. It's a very good decision. And do you think this match will go on to the next tiebreak, to the blitz?
I don't even know. I mean, it depends on how this game finishes. Let me see how this game goes. Is Pragg going to be able to hold the balance here?
He took. And rook takes e2 and rook e8 will be coming soon, yes, and Fabiano did it. And now I think you have to throw in this d takes c6 at the point.
So maybe queen f2 now. Queen f2, but still rook e3 defends the pawn. So where's his queen going? Might go to d2. But maybe d2 you want to try to play rook e1. Where did he go? There was some trade. He actually, I think he took on c6. Just like you suggested, he makes sure he's at least up a pawn.
And now
and queen f2.
So rook
Yes.
f3 should happen, or I think that's it there.
Yeah,
Like,
and your judgment is definitely right that like even though we like threw this in, I mean there's still a lot of play on the e file.
yep. So rook e3 and doubling up with another queen on the e file. But Fabiano is currently thinking, so I'm just wondering which one that he might be considering.
I guess there's a like, well, what could he be thinking about? This move is coming, so he can't allow it, right?
Or maybe he's thinking of bishop
Bishop
a5.
a5. Only that move kind of makes sense, right?
But there's f5 maybe.
Yeah.
Opening this up. So maybe he's considering the f5 idea by playing
But if rook e3, can we still go f5?
That's possible.
I think we can, right?
Oh, g5. G5, and now this bishop c7, queen d6 is an idea.
We might be getting attacked on this diagonal.
Exactly, it might backfire.
But g5, I mean, I'm going to play f6. It looks like such a mess, no? You're going to go, what, king g6? You're going to be fearless? Moving up the king?
I don't know.
Yeah,
At this point, it's quite shaky. Yeah.
You can do it.
Or is it possible to just go to the back rank? Like to the A file?
No, but I can see why Fabi is thinking here, because I think he's concerned about this f5 move. But he obviously...
He did queen d6.
Queen d6.
So preparing bishop c7, yeah?
Very smart. So now if f5, bishop c7 makes a checkmate threat. And he's also basically saying he's trying to stop them from this.
Yeah.
Now, you
can
he's
just
going to
take
trade and take the pawn, and it's not just taking the pawn, it's that white doesn't actually have a queen trade here, and bishop c7 is coming.
Yep, a very clever move. This queen d6 holding everything.
And we're getting attacked on the dark squares, so...
Right.
Now Pragg tries g3, which is a clever move as well. He wants to go rook e1 next. That's his next move. He should still be holding the draw here. Yeah. Because now if black comes in, or will he come in or not? Yeah, he does.
Yep,
Rook
e3.
e1. I mean, you're going to challenge that rook. And then I think he might just want to trade, like block the pawn with the queen and move in the king.
Yeah, and you have to act fast, yeah, because otherwise black is attacking and it's going to be very dangerous. So yeah, he has to neutralize it by playing rook e1. And now I think Fabi will just try to protect e3 by playing, let's say, bishop b6, yeah.
Or queen e7.
Either, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're probably going to be seeing a queen and bishops of opposite color endgame right now, right? And is Fabi... I mean, I guess I don't think Pragg shouldn't be having any big problems there, but black might be having a pawn on e3 soon.
Right, so... And Fabi is still ahead on the clock.
Yeah, by about a minute. A bit less. So, yeah, probably bishop b6 makes sense, yeah?
Bishop b6, yeah.
But I mean, it's not like I see like some big horrible thing about this move either. Like, you're basically going in for this position. But Fabi's maybe not so happy about all of this because he's like, I don't really have the initiative here either. Just have compensation for the pawn. Yeah, big moment for him, but he can't avoid the rook trade, so...
Yeah, and he shouldn't take this long for the move. And
yeah,
he played bishop b6. Bishop b6 on the board,
and now, is Pragg gonna trade? Or
right
is
away.
he gonna make like some sort of king move? Because in general, that's pretty helpful as well. And then maybe later he can trade and, I don't know, put the queen here, maybe try to even block the pawn with the king as an idea.
Yeah, but gotta be careful there. King f2, king g2, queen b4.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
There's that kind of entryway. Yeah, so he's thinking, trade or not. I mean, you can go king g2. You're not risking anything with that move.
Yeah, it's funny how this position turns up. Yeah, it's an extra pawn for Praggnanandhaa, but Fabi has a good compensation for the pawn, and he's actually looking to fight for a win. And it's just easy for us to evaluate because of the bar.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if we were playing this on the board,
I would still feel like it's unclear.
Unclear, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look too bad for either side. Like, no one has bad pieces on the board. Bishops of opposite color. We know, like, the drawing tendencies are there. Pieces are getting traded. So I would say, it's balanced is quite a fair assessment.
Yep. Pragg has to play.
Yeah, he's getting closer to a minute.
Yep, and there's only 10-second increment. Okay, King G2 is on the board.
Yeah.
So we might be seeing Queen B4 soon to try to force the trade.
Yeah, Queen B4 would force it. I mean, I guess I could go Rook E2 if I really want.
Yeah, you should I think, yeah?
You think? I mean, I don't know. Like, this position seems quite okay as well.
Yeah.
But then maybe you can try to target the pawns because I can't really play C3.
But then E3 is also hanging, so...
Yeah, maybe I can play that, right?
Yeah.
I can. Alright, but let's see what Caruana is going to come up with now after King G2.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still predicting a draw in this game. As exciting as as they're trying to make it, I still think it's going to end in a draw.
Yeah, objectively speaking, yes, this looks like quite a draw because I don't see any way in. Even if there is a pawn on E3, it's a passer, but with the opposite colored bishop and with reduced number of pieces, yeah, it's still very equal.
Yeah, and I mean, White doesn't even have to make that trade if they don't want to.
Queen F6.
Yeah, so he's basically saying if you want to take, you're going to lose that pawn. That's fine, but White can just stay, right? White can play Rook E2. White can play H4, putting all his pawns on the dark squares to guard the dark squares. I think H4 is a reasonable positional move, especially because Black always has this idea. Bishop C4, okay, it's fine.
Maybe trying to use B4.
Yeah, it doesn't ruin anything. Yeah, maybe one day he'll play that. Maybe Black should play A5.
Also, maybe C3 is an idea.
Yeah, probably if you wanna lose, you can try it. Because after pawn takes, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess you should. Well, it's a little shaky.
Tricky, it's
C3.
tricky, yeah.
C3, I think he'll probably not go for, but did Fabi play A5? I think he did. Yeah, just normal move.
And now C3 is possible.
Now C3 is possible. You keep wanting to do it. What is it that attracts you to this move?
First of all, I can take on C3 back.
Yeah, yeah, you're kind of still alive here, yeah?
So Queen F1 on the board.
Alright, so Pragg just trying to keep the position level, not making any big changes. I mean, maybe he does want to take on E3 and go C3. That's probably what he's trying to do, actually, with his Queen F1 move so that Queen doesn't get hit.
Bishop C5.
Yeah, I think he's going to take and play C3. That's his whole idea. That's why he played Queen F1.
Yeah, I don't get it why Fabi don't try to force the trade by playing Queen E7 or something like that.
Well, first of all, I think he missed this idea. Pretty sure that he missed C3. It's easy to miss in a blitz game. Now Pragg is feeling more comfortable. Because, I mean, if he gets to go D4, win that pawn, he'll be up 2 pawns and can rightfully play for a win. So it's starting to feel kind of shaky for Fabi.
Yep. Yeah. Now the pawn on E3 is not
random
anymore.
moves. Yeah, Bishop C4, like he had a concept. Queen F1 was definitely showing the concept. Bishop B6. So again, the most exciting parts where things start happening is when the players have no time. Queen F3. He might want to put the queen out there, and he also wants to go D4. It's unpleasant. It is unpleasant. And, this is, finally, Pragg has the advantage. We've seen how good he's been defending, but, let's see how good Fabi is at defending.
Right, but after the pawn moves to d4 and cutting the bishop to the other pawn, I think it's just gonna be...
Good try, because now if you take, I think I promote.
So d4 has to be played then.
d4 working f1.
And Praggnanandhaa seems to be reaching his king, but now he's a bit hesitant.
Yeah, he's just checking probably if there's any like queen c5s or e2 and then queen c5. Okay. Maybe Fabi needs to try to target that pawn on b2. That's why the bishop should have moved to a7 earlier.
Yeah,
Ooh,
bishop
he
a7.
realized it. He's like, yeah, I should have kept the b file open. Yeah, that was tough to see in advance for sure. Yeah.
And you still cannot take on c6 because there's bishop f2. So king e2 is on the board, queen b7 and b3.
Okay, can this queen come in like this? Can she kind of go back and try to come in like that? That's what I would try to do. I would try to just go back and find the only way in I have into this position.
Yeah, you just have to try to enter the position, yeah? But also, after queen a7, there is queen takes c6. Maybe it's working now.
But then queen a3, then d4. Well, you just got to do it, Fabi. Yeah, he did it. You got to do it and think later. d4 and c5. Okay, c5, reasonable try. Can this pawn get captured now? And is that a winning endgame for white with 2 extra pawns? Okay, he doesn't want to check it, yeah. He goes for d5, very logical.
Yeah, very practical choice by Praggnanandhaa.
Just maybe we have more chances to hold. Yeah, maybe we have more chances to hold.
Just a fortress.
Yes, because we put the bishop there, and then I think you're just gonna take it, right? Take it and bishop d6. I mean, can you really break through?
I'll keep it. I'll keep the queen on the board.
You want to keep the queen on the board? I want to take and play bishop d6. I don't.
Because there's like
maybe,
bishop b5, king b3.
Maybe your king can come in.
I think you have to keep the queen on the board.
Yeah, he did. Okay. Of course, queen f8, defending the pawn, but it's not the move you want to make. He's got good chances here.
Bishop b5 and maybe bishop d6 now.
Bishop d6, yeah. But then we can always force the queen trade.
Tricky. So, queen d6 is on the board, and Fabiano has only 17 seconds left on the clock. Bishop c6.
Alright, can things still happen here? I feel like they can. It's only 2 pawns. And it's bishops of opposite color. But, what is white's idea?
Bishop c7 is on the board. White, maybe now bring the king. King d3, king c4.
Maybe even bringing the king out there.
Yeah, king d3. So
what did he play?
Yeah, he did play
queen f6.
Queen f6. And now maybe king c4. Praggnanandhaa has time there on the clock, like 38
he's got
seconds.
a lot of time, and he can also think about taking that pawn, or just not taking it. I really like the king walk. King walk feels good. He goes for it. Wow, he's starting to play. It's the domination themes. It's not just the material; it's the domination of the light squares.
Am I predicting this correctly? I was picking Gurchikin and Praggnanandhaa.
Yeah, well, who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, at
We
this
still
point,
got another game after this, but right now it's looking good for your prediction.
Okay, so Praggnanandhaa has 2 extra pawns, but this opposite colored bishop is always tricky.
Just king b5 or something, queen e4.
Queen e4, centralization. But now you cannot move the king with
now
c3.
you can't move the king. Not that black has actually any plan at all. Like, black's only breaks are here. He has, like, nothing to do.
Yeah, black has to just keep waiting. Oh, g5.
Yep.
Now he played it. g5, yes.
After f takes, queen takes. Should we even force a queen trade and just go, like, king b5? I actually kind of wonder.
Takes, and take on h3.
Okay. And nothing really, not a big gain for Fabiano, because the king can still just go to b5. But maybe, I don't know, maybe he wants to bring in the queen back.
King b5. So, has to bring the queen back, or bishop c7. But okay, well, both of the pawns are under
Yeah,
attack.
it looks a little scary. Like if here, and like here, I'm threatening bishop c7 with some kind of checkmate threats. It could get a little hairy. But still tough for Fabiano.
Queen g4. So what's the idea? So if you're taking the pawn,
yeah, what's the idea?
You just want to take the g5 pawn?
Yeah, but that's not too important, but I guess he tries to come back.
Yep. Pragg is taking it.
Yeah.
So queen
One
g5.
pawn off the board.
So now, can the queen move? Or king can still move? King b5. And now white side is easy. White just wants to keep pushing the a pawn and promote it.
Yeah. What can we do? I don't know. Queen d8. You could just go a5. You can even hide the king in a4.
Wow.
It does look like Fabi is running short on ideas here.
Right.
I think we're going to see Pragg converting the first advantage that he's gotten in this match.
Queen
Bishop
takes.
g3.
Oh, bishop takes. I was a bit skeptical of bishop. Yeah. Queen.
Well, he hopes that maybe his h-pawn can run, but...
He's hoping for a pawn race.
d6, maybe? Which one is going to go? It's
a5.
All right.
Yeah. That pawn will be queening earlier.
Yeah, it's very hard to stop both of these guys.
Bishop d6.
a6.
Yeah. a6. Maybe queen will go back, but then...
Oh, then just goes. It just goes.
Yeah, queen e7.
Okay, and now, basically, we need some crowning touches. We need to bring in this queen, because without the queen, we can't win.
Queen f5, maybe. Queen
right,
f3.
Queen f3. Why does he choose that? He just wants the check.
And then d7.
And then something here, yeah. Yeah, look at how secure that king is. Oh, you know why he didn't go there? He didn't even want to allow a check on d7.
Clever.
That's why. I mean, on e2, yeah. No checks. That king is the safest king in the world. Yeah, it's a wonderful thing, king safety. And bishop
b8. And Fabiano had only 2 seconds on the clock
queen
before
g4.
this bishop b8.
Easy move. King h6. And what's the best way for us to win? Can we just go, like, maybe queen c8?
I like bishop d7.
Like bishop d7? Why? You want
Just
to bring in the king?
Just bring the
Queen
the
c8, there
to
we
the
go.
other side. Queen c8 also is a very good move.
And I think we're going to force a queen trade soon. When you give me a check, first of all, I have king b6. I also have c4 ideas, but probably king b6. Bishop f4. And now, can we start working on promoting? Also, there's a check sometimes I can give.
Yeah. Queen h3, queen g4. Queen
d7. Queen
e2,
check,
and then king b6.
king b6, yep.
Yeah.
Because the king can hide and buy the bishop as well. c4, I think a7. Oh,
b4.
just b4. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, the king can hide to b7.
There's one check by the bishop. Has he given it? Not yet. But the king is very safe.
So Praggnanandhaa is very close to win this game, and it will be their first decisive result
in the match.
In the match, yeah, because they've been drawing all their games before.
Wow, Pragg, showing himself to be a very strong, rapid player. His conversion was quite nice. It's just that Fabi missed. He missed rook takes e3 and c3, the point that white was actually circling around that idea. Okay, let's just watch the game.
a7.
So the pawn's about to promote. And
d5.
he has like one check with the pawn going to c3.
Yep, and I think we can have the whole camera on the players.
And there is this discovered check, I think, coming.
Wow, the second
check.
queen on the board.
Where's the king going?
b6? b6 or... Yeah, b6 to b7. That's it. If bishop e3, king b7 on the board. Yeah, the king is quite safe there.
The king is running out. Yeah, Fabi's running out of checks here.
And there's queen Queen F8 going to be the next check.
Ah, okay. White is about to start attacking the black king, yeah? And then he gets a trade of queens, yeah, on f7. Okay.
Wow. And 3 seconds. Okay.
Queen d6.
Queen d6.
King b7.
No, it's Queen e3.
Sorry, yeah. Queen e3,
Queen
king b7.
And now Queen f8 has to be played.
c2 and queen check. Yeah.
And Queen g7. I think a mate is coming soon. And yes, so Praggnanandhaa won finally the first game of their 10 minutes plus 10 tiebreak. And on the second game, he will be taking